All right, let's go ahead and start with Algebra 2. Once again, my voice and my picture is not going to line up because I still forgot to do the right recording. What am I writing down right here? I'm writing perfect squares. I'm writing perfect squares because the pink says to memorize the perfects up through 225. 225 is 15 squared, by the way. Also try to remember 625 because that is 25 squared. That pops up a lot. Let's just simplify this square root. It's just 5. Don't worry about the plus minus symbol because the square root symbol was already there. All right, so square root of 5, that's not perfect. Hold on a second. Moving back, moving back. There we go. Sorry, square root of 5, y'all. That is not perfect. So if we need to divide that in 2, then just divide it in 2. Use a fraction bar. By the way, the square root of 5 is an exact form. Please don't take the square root of 5 and get a decimal number. We want exact form here in Algebra 2. So we're going to leave it in square root form. And boom, I just divided it by 2. That's it. That's as far as you can take the directions on that. Let's go ahead and take a look at doubling it. So if I want to double it, it's just going to have a 2 in front, y'all. That is 2 square roots of 5. That is as far as I can take that. Oh, squaring it. Okay, well, when you square something, what do? You raise it to the second power. And when you raise something to the second power, when it's a radical, they can be underneath the same square root symbol. So the square root of 5 raised to the second power, y'all, that's just 5. When you raise a square root to the second power, the square root symbol cancels out the exponent. So let's divide it by 2, then square it. Let's see what kind of fun that's going to be. Here's where we divided it in 2, but now we're going to square the whole entire fraction. Remember, when you square a fraction, you get to square the numerator and the denominator. Don't forget you have to do both. Also remember, when you square a square root symbol, that goes away. So that's just going to be 5 over 4. Now let's talk about non-perfects. We got to take the square root of 50. Y'all, there is a perfect hiding out in 50. What perfect square is multiplied by another number to make 50? It's 25. That's my perfect. What's the root of 25? Just 5. And remember, the non-perfects stay underneath the square root symbol. So 5 roots of 2 is simplified square root of 50. Let's simplify it all over again, then divide by 2. Let's see what happens here. So remember that 50 square rooted to 5 square roots of 2. Now we divide by 2. So here's what you cannot do. Remember, if it is underneath a square root symbol, it is not the same thing as a number without the symbol. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Square root of 2 divided by 2, those don't cancel. That's not a 1. That math is so wrong, that ink is going to magically disappear because that is such wrong math. Told you. So remember, radicals do not simplify with regular numbers. What's next? We're going to simplify, then divide by 2, then square it. That's going to be a lot of fun. So once again, 50, the square root of 50 is 5 square roots of 2. Let's divide that by 2. Done. Remember, we couldn't simplify that any farther, so 5 over 2 stays 5 over 2. Let me rewrite the denominator. Okay, let's square it. We got a lot of things to square here. So please remember that this is really just one term, y'all. There is not any plus or minus at all in this expression. This is one single term, which means that the 5, the square root of the 2, and the regular 2 in the denominator are all going to get that exponent. So the 5 gets squared, the square root of 2 gets squared, and the denominator gets squared. All right, here we go. So 5 squared, of course, is 25. The square root of 2 squared is just a 2. And look at my denominator. My denominator is now a 4 because it was 2 squared. So that's going to be 50 over 4. And then improper fractions, we're cool with improper fractions, but you just have to simplify the improper. So 50 over 4, that simplifies to 25 over 2. Ooh, I have a wrong little thing here. Let me know where my mistake is. Okay, so let's take that square root of 50 and actually put it in an Algebra 1 review problem. So right here, we are going to solve this quadratic. And the way that we are going to solve this quadratic is, well, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to divide both sides by 4, which is the a value. So now I'm going to have x minus 4 squared equals the square root of 50 over 4. And then remember, I have a 2 right there. If I have a 2, then I would square root both sides to get rid of that 2. Okay, so when we draw a square root symbol, we are going to also draw the plus minus. And remember, the square root of 4, that denominator, that's just a 2. All right, all we got to do now is just isolate x, move that negative 4 to the other side, make it positive. We're going to have a weird looking answer, but we need it to be an exact form, so those square root symbols are going to stay put. So x is going to equal positive 4 plus or minus the square root of the square root of 50 over 2. That's going to be the final answer. Remember, this is an Algebra 1 review problem. We're just rooting both sides. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. This time we do not have a square root symbol, so our answer is going to be a little bit cleaner. Same kind of principle though. We got to divide by the a value. So it is going to be x minus 4 squared equals 50 over 4. And then we are going to square root both sides. So here's the deal. That can be simplified, but I've got a high alert going on, and my high alert is 4 is a perfect square, and I'm about to square root things. So if I have a perfect square in the denominator, I'm leaving it. I don't want to mess with it, and don't simplify any fraction until after you've square rooted. You simplify in your final answer. All right, here we go. So I'm going to draw a square root symbol that knocks out the exponent. Oh, I'm drawing a square root symbol. I know I have to draw the plus minus. So 50 over 4, that's going to be 5 roots 2. We talked about this earlier. Square root of 4 is 2. That's the denominator. And remember, this is x minus 4. Last thing, shove that negative 4 over to the other side. That's the answer. That's the solutions. There's 2 of them. Those are real numbers, and I will see you guys in class.